Being the wife to a ninja like Sasuke Uchiha isn't something that just anyone can do. Even for a shinobi, marriage is a bond between two people that requires both parties constantly growing together in order to strengthen that bond. For the marriage of Sasuke and Sakura, it's a lot harder than a lot of people may realize. Sure, the obvious disadvantage is, unlike Hinata Hyuga, whose husband is constantly working as the Hokage and returns home only to go to sleep if he doesn't fall asleep in his office, Sakura has gone years without seeing her husband, something that we know from the Sasuke Retsuden novel does fill Sasuke with shame, since there's been times when he's returned home after several months or even a year after being away, only to see Sakura's hair having changed or Sarada having grown taller than he remembered. Sakura herself isn't 100% without blame in this equation either. Like I've talked about in my Legacy of Sakura video, which I highly recommend checking out, Sakura, after the 4th Great Ninja Wars, set up a mental health clinic for children and shinobi in each of the 5 great nations, and she's running the Konoha hospital by the time that Naruto and Hinata actually get married. Sakura is a very busy woman herself with all these responsibilities that she has, which Sasuke even admits himself on more than one occasion in the Sasuke Retsuden novel, stating that Sakura is too important for the village and for the great nations to not be inside of Konoha, which is partly why he's so shocked to see Sakura on this S-rank mission, though part of his dislike for having Sakura on the mission is him also worrying about their daughter Sarada as well. One of the themes that this Sasuke Retsuden novel explores, and does so quite well if I might add, is it looks at the complexity of the relationship between a shinobi marriage, in particular when the two partners are important ninja who take S-rank missions. This is a consistent theme that we've gotten with the previous trilogy of novels that were set in the Boruto era. It's in this novel, the Sasuke Retsuden novel, the Uchiha Descendants in the Heavenly Stardust, that we get the layers peeled back on Sasuke and see his vulnerability of his character, seeing how much his family truly means to him, deep enough that it can be argued that Sasuke himself compromised his mission more than once because of Sakura. However, it's not due to anything that Sakura herself did, but more so because Sasuke can't control his feelings. However, Sakura herself undergoes a bit of a deep dive as well. In the scene I'm going to share with you guys, I want you guys to pay attention to this because we get what I personally feel is a peek behind the curtain to one of the saddest aspects of Sasuke and Sakura's marriage, one that I personally find heartbreaking, but depending on how you guys look at it, it could be proof that these two are the perfect couple for one another, which what I'll do for you guys now is begin reading the scene in question from this novel and then come back to you guys with my thoughts and for a bit of exposition. Basically in this scene here, Sakura is sitting down at the cafeteria and she gets joined by one of Sasuke's cellmates, and it's here I'm gonna begin quoting. Gano gently narrowed his eyes, looking at Sakura's hand. Sensei, you're wearing a ring today. Are you married? Yes, I remove it during work though. It tends to get in the way. If I worked in a place like this, it'd be fairly difficult not to go home. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to see each other as much as we've had if I didn't work in such a place like this, Sakura thought. What kind of person is your husband? Well, he's kind. Sakura intended to give a safe and honest answer, but had so much more to say, so Sakura added, He's a very genuine person. She spoke fondly about how much he meant to her, carelessly forgetting that Gano didn't know who her husband was anyway. Sometimes he's too straightforward and frank, making trouble for himself and the people around him. When he thinks, he goes to one extreme to another, but it's what he likes. He always looks so cool and handsome, but he never takes advantage of it. For that reason, he never has a clue about how much people like him as well, even in here. Although now and again, I do get worried about him. I see. Sasuke's a lucky fellow, I tell you. Her chin slipped from where it was sitting in her palm. Sakura's face hit the table. Gano, amused with the look on her face, let out a laugh. No, Sasuke-kun, oh no, I meant my husband. That guy, he's always sitting in the seat and just looks outside. Since you've come around though, that hasn't been the case recently. I've always been wondering what Sasuke was looking at. Now I finally know. He's been wondering when the flowers will bloom on that tree over there. Huh? Flower? Well, actually, more than that, why do you think Sasuke-kun's my husband? That's a very beautiful color of hair. Take care. Gano smiled like a proud father with his children, and without further explanation, Sakura's head was still full with the remaining questions. My hair? Why Why my hair? What about my hair? While looking confused at the door, she then looked out the window and Sakura looked at the tree that Gano spoke of. There was only one tree with flowers, a small flower that bloomed. The pale pink petals were very small and you would lose the sight of them if you blinked. She stared for a while and finally realized what Gano was saying, and Sakura turned red to the ears. Thinking about it, it was a little obvious. Cherry blossoms certainly did not bloom in a climate like this. Sakura returned to the medical office with a smile on her face. End quote. One of the things that I really like about this scene is that Sakura has an internal monologue where she herself admits that if she wasn't on a mission like this, that she wouldn't have seen Sasuke. While Sasuke does return to Konoha more often after the events of Naruto Gaiden, where he almost killed his daughter Sarada, Sasuke isn't usually there for long periods of time, which is why you have the line in the Versus Momoshiki arc, where Sakura reveals that Sasuke does return home from missions to spend the night, but is usually gone before Sarada wakes up. Even still, Sasuke is still gone from the village for months on end. In this mission, Sakura has spent more time with Sasuke than she's spent in a while, which in itself is pretty heartbreaking in my opinion. Not many people will be willing to put up with a spouse who's never there or is always working. Later on in the scene, we see how Sakura reacts to the news that Sasuke, before she arrived at the prison, would look out at the tree and wait for it to eventually produce cherry blossoms. Looking at the tree reminded Sasuke of his wife that he left behind at home for months on end, and in some cases for years on end. His missions to collect data on the Sasuke clan to find Naruto's cure and later on investigate the Kara organization leave him away from the village for very lengthy periods of time. Sakura never knows when she might have her Tsunade moment, where Tsunade watched Jiraiya walk to his death when he took an S-rank mission that he would never return from. I love this scene because it shows us that no matter where Sasuke is, he is always looking for something that's going to remind him of his wife and child, showing that no matter how dark the situation, Sasuke is still looking for a path forward to illuminate his path home to his family. One final thing I want you guys to take note of is, as of this moment, we now have two of Sasuke's cellmates who now know that Sasuke is married to Sakura. The very first is Gigi, and now the second one is Gano. Given how Sakura's presence there has thrown Sasuke off, admittedly because Sasuke himself and not so much because of Sakura, it's very interesting to take note of the fact that Sasuke's worry about people finding out that Sakura is his wife is now proving to be true, with Gano now figuring out the information. Just as a reminder, remember that one of the themes of this novel is that a ninja must learn to see past deception. But that's gonna be it for this installment of the Sasuke Retsuden novel. Thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.